Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary, Ashton, and this is our NXT review. Now, me and Ashton didn't talk about our preliminary thoughts before going live, so I get to tell him and all of you, this was my favorite episode of NXT in quite some time. Because this episode of NXT did what I love about NXT. When we think about it as a developmental territory, it is supposed to nurture the future. And I feel like on this show, we got not only the Street Profits' best match, but a great showing from Raul Mendoza. And then when you think of NXT as more of a brand, well, let's scratch that itch, too, because you had Nikki Cross still on the rise in an entertaining match with Mercedes Martinez. Aleister Black continues to be fucking menacing. And speaking of menacing, Lars Sullivan is on a warpath. And speaking of warpath, War Raiders. My God, those final few minutes of NXT was probably one of the best endings to NXT I have seen in the longest time. I have nothing but positivity for this episode as opposed to last week when I was more meh on it. Ashton, what'd you think of this?
Dude, you realize you just went through and listed all kinds of great stuff, and you completely jumped away from the one thing that I wanted to talk about most tonight, and that was the fucking debut of Matt Riddle.
That's right. Oh, my sweet mother of God. Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about all kinds of great stuff, and there was a lot on this show to unpack, but you completely forgot about the one big thing that we've been looking forward to most, and that was Riddle. And dude, here's the beautiful thing I absolutely loved about this NXT. It wasn't just the performers that we were supposed to be paying attention to that got highlighted here. Because to me, even though the Street Profits had their best match ever, and I agree with you on that, the Mighty looked great.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt Riddle was awesome, and I became a fan of Luke Menzies because of this match. And even though Lorcan and Birch were supposed to be the focus of that match, Mendoza and Carrillo were amazing in that match.
Yeah, they were. Can I just say, too, actually, no, you know what? This is just the preliminary remarks before we get into the formal review.
And, by the way, I'm sorry to cut you off, but Nikki Cross was the focus of the first match, and Mercedes continues to be awesome.
Yeah, totally.
This was a rare NXT show where there wasn't a weak segment on the entire show, in my opinion.
I mean, honestly, like, Ultima Lucha Night 1 was fantastic, and I still have to give that the nod, but honestly, if this wasn't like a supercharged Lucha Underground, NXT probably would have gotten the win here for me. I loved everything they did tonight. And again, I know you were higher on last week's episode than I was, but I was lapping this shit up, and I'm so glad you mentioned. See, it was so epic that I didn't even really think about Matt Riddle, and that just puts NXT over the moon. Because that debut kicked ass, and I have a lot to say about Matt Riddle, and I've waited a long time to say it, for him to just pick a promotion and really just run with it. But with that said, do you have any other opening remarks about tonight's episode before we really get into this?
You know what? I'm going to say no, I don't, because I just really want to talk about this stuff in depth now.
You and me both. So, I mean, hell, let's just do it as a formality. Heat of the night. I ain't got shit. You got anything?
No, I don't. I mean, the only real problem I have with this show is that we didn't get any kind of update on Shayna and her new gang with Jessamine and Marina. We just saw a recap.
Exactly. So they touched on it, but they didn't really explore it like I think you and I were hoping they would.
But exactly, yes.
Yeah, you know what, though? In a way, I'm almost glad because there was so much that happened on this episode that I'm thinking when they do touch on that, it'll be more of a highlight on a later episode that may be more sparse for content. But that said, let us get right into our NXT review. And we open up, we get the recap stuff, with Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano unveiled. But after all the recap stuff, we get Nikki Cross versus Mercedes Martinez. Ashton, what did you think about this match, brother?
This was a really fun match. I just want to say, it wasn't the best Mercedes Martinez match we've ever seen, and it wasn't the best Nikki Cross match we've ever seen, but it was a very good match for both women, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, look, here's the thing. I don't want to harp too much on Nikki, the character, because, I mean, we've talked that point to death.
Well, yeah, and dude, I also wanted to say, as good as this match was, I just feel like it got overshadowed. There were so many, This was a very good match, and I will not back down off of that stance. And it was still the worst match of the night, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, I would agree with you there because lots to talk about. But, you know, what I was going to say was I don't want to harp on Nikki the character because that's already been exhausted. But, like, in ring, both of these women are just so solid. Like, everything looks good. Nothing ever looks like too cringy. Like, they feel like they'd be safe to work with. Like, they're consummate professionals. I will give the Nikki character this credit, though, because there was blood in this. I'm guessing Mercedes had a bloody nose or something happened to her nose. And Nikki
Nikki was the one with blood on her face, man.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if the injury stemmed from Mercedes because I saw blood on her nose. So I don't know if
okay. Gotcha. I gotcha.
But anyway, as I was saying, she had the blood on her face and she actually smiled and the camera got a cool shot of the blood on her cheek. That was a really cool visual. And especially given that it is Halloween, it seemed a little bit too perfect. So yeah, I did have to give the character that credit. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it was a great back and forth match. I especially loved Mercedes' comeback towards the end when she's like throwing off those Saito suplexes and she's really getting fired up and going for that Fisherman Buster. But, you know, Nikki counters and then she gets the, God, I forget what she actually calls her finisher, but it's like
the plague or the purge.
The purge, yeah, and it's the Fisherman Neckbreaker is the technical term for it. And she gets the win off that. Solid match, and honestly, now again, this is more the fantasy booking, geeking out fandom side, but I'm starting to doubt that the women's tag titles are going to happen, but I heard that signs were handed out like we want tag titles, so maybe they're waiting for the right moment. And I saw Nikki and Mercedes locking eyes, and Mercedes not backing down and not being weirded out by it. You know, since they would allegedly be going to NXT too, you know, Nikki and Mercedes as a team, I could dig that short term. So
yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. I mean, you would have to leave all the talking to Nikki and a majority of the in-ring work to Mercedes, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I think that could work out just fine. So I really enjoyed the stare down and everything. But then after, I'm going to hand the reins back to you, Ashton. What happened after the match? Because this is where we really started to get some meat in this sandwich.
Yeah, well, because after the match, Candice LeRae comes down to the ring and she gets all up in Nikki's face, preaching at her about how, oh, why wouldn't you tell him who did it? It's not funny. You're ruining people's lives. And Nikki just laughs at her. No, it's not funny. It's not funny. And Nikki walks up the ramp, and as she's leaving to go to the back, she gets cut off by Aleister Black. But he doesn't want anything to do with her. But he does come out. He kind of backs her off and then makes his way to the ring where Candice still was, and asked where Johnny is, which she replies that he's not there. Of course, Black's angry. He says his future is gone. And she's like, Candice's face, like you can just tell she's just done with everything at this point. Like it's like she just gave up her 7th goal in Rocket League and she's just ready to quit the game.
Brother, I gotta ask. I know it probably makes me terrible. But was I the only one that for whatever reason was half expecting Aleister Black to hit Black Mass on Candice?
Just yes, like I definitely was not.
Okay, you were not. Okay, so I really was alone. I figured I would be, but just the way the camera was.
I mean, to be fair, you're probably not the only one. I'm sure there are other people, but as far as just between the two of us, yes, you're alone.
I just, you know, just the way the camera was zooming out and like the tension that was building, because Aleister, you could tell, like, he is just boiling inside. Right. And Candice stepping up to Aleister, like, I know that they never do it, but I really mean it as more of a compliment, honestly, because the Aleister character to me is so menacing and so intimidating right now that he really, like, I just expect him to pop off at any second. So the idea that I can suspend my disbelief in a product that's been incredibly sanitized, you know, in this day and age, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and say to myself, oh my God, is he actually going to hit her with Black Mass, send a message to Gargano? But then what he does, honestly, especially given the climate that we're in, I think might have even been better because he gets in her face and he says, your future with your husband in NXT is gone, and just walks off like, dude, I don't want to fuck with him right now. I know Johnny got the leg up on him, but let's remember that that was from behind. Like, anybody that's coming face to face with Aleister Black, good luck to you, because this is the guy I've been waiting for. I almost feel like the NXT title was holding him back. I feel like he's been far more interesting in these 2 weeks in his entire reign as champion. And I hate to keep kicking that dead horse, but god damn, he's been unleashed. So yeah, this was awesome, dude. I love this. He keeps this up. Black's going to be in my fave 5s in our next installment. This is fantastic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's really killing it right now. I mean, menacing is the word. I really hope that we get to hear him say what he said that one time in Progress. I will eat your soul.
Dude, yes. I will eat their souls. Yes. Give it to me. Oh my God.
That would be almost too good for NXT. And NXT's been amazing lately, but I don't know if they would allow that kind of violent language to be used on their show.
You call yourself Johnny Wrestling like I give a fuck. Oh my God. So what came after this?
After this, we had a recap of the Street Profits feud with the Mighty, and the Street Profits are being given one more shot against the Mighty up next. And then we get right into that match. And I just want to say, yeah, this was a really good match. It really has gotten to the point that I'm convinced that the Street Profits just took all the pointers from American Alpha, because they really do feel like maybe like a slightly lesser version of American Alpha. The way like Montez gets in there and takes a beating and does really fun stuff. Like with Chad Gable, it was always like the arm drags and the made you look kind of stuff and all that silly stuff. Montez is just this freaky ass athletic stuff. And then the hot tag to Dawkins, and he just kind of dominates with size and power and stuff. And you know what? Dawkins does some pretty impressive athletic stuff too. The one note that I actually had here that's even slightly critical is that I like Dawkins, but I want him to wrestle like his size more, because he is like a big, like 6'6", 270-pound big dude, and he really doesn't wrestle with that much power. Like the only power we ever really see from him is when he's suplexing someone. I just know I remember watching him Irish whip one of the members of the Mighty here and go off the ropes. I wanted him to just pounce. I wanted to pounce out of it. I just wanted to throw the guy across the ring. And he I think he went for like a lariat and missed or something. It was kind of lame, but I just want to see Angelo Dawkins wrestle like his size more.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe I'm saying that. This might have been my match of the night, actually.
Really? See, I feel like this, like, honestly, I want to say that Riddle's match was match of the night for me, but Riddle and this match were really close together. Like I think that Lorcan and Birch versus Mendoza and Carrillo is like a solid third place. This match and Menzies Riddle is really close for first for me. It might even be like a 1A 1B situation.
I mean, because dude, here's the thing. I don't want to talk too much in case there's anything else you want to say about the match, but for one, like the Mighty are just so fucking good. Yeah. Like I feel like honestly. And then this is even taking into account their work as baby faces against like AOP and stuff. This is probably one of their best NXT matches. And not just the Street Profits' best match, which to me, that's undeniable. This was a match they needed. Because I feel like, you know, at first maybe they were being pushed a little too fast, and then it seemed like they were stagnating. If there was ever a match to really get proper positioning to catapult into the upper tier of the tag division, this is a match to do it. I mean, the Mighty, they sold for these guys. Everything they did look so good. I love that cross-legged jackknife pin. That was so fucking good. Shane Thorne is a beast, and Nick Miller too. I mean, as a team, these guys are.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Nick Miller's good. Shane Thorne's something special though, man.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, the double team where they get the powerbomb assisted suplex on fucking Montez. That was great. Hell, Angelo Dawkins didn't even annoy me because he seemed like he was more business and not doing his usual mannerisms. Which
down to simple, like down to business, like, you know, straightforward, focused Street Profits are definitely awesome. Like I imagine this is what we would have gotten if they would have gotten Paul Ellering as their manager.
And yeah, exactly. And like, I gotta tell you, man, I was into all of it. And then the finish with Montez's frog splash. My God. This was a great tag team match. And honestly, given how the Street Profits have matured, the Mighty are heels who I still, again, like, it's both a beautiful thing and frustrating because on the one hand, you get this amazing match. And then on the other hand, you see the Mighty doing amazing work. Like, I feel like they finally hit their stride in NXT where they're putting out this work. And it just comes at a bad time for them personally because you've also got War Raiders and Undisputed Era who are arguably the best faction in wrestling right now. Like, God damn it, man. I feel so bad for all the talents that like I like and that are genuinely good, but they have to wait their turn because I don't know when the turn's going to come. And really, another thing I have to praise for this too, this was such a simple fucking feud. Like, this was Pride Feud 101 because they had the Street Profits' cup. And like the swag that they had, like, you know, the jewelry and stuff, like, and they got it back. that was the finish. Like, Midas gets the frog splash, they get the cup back. It was a fucking cup. And, like, it was such a great match. And I don't know, maybe that's the beauty of wrestling in a nutshell, you know? I don't know. I was really into this. I think the Mighty, when I think about favorite tag teams, I mean, I love Roppongi 3K, but after the Mighty's performance here, I may have a new favorite tag team in wrestling, because it's not like the Revival are doing anything right now except jobbing to the fucking Lucha House Party. So yeah, the Mighty don't kneel indeed, and neither am I. You know, like that was fantastic. So, is there anything else you want to say about this match?
I don't think so, man. This is really well done, and I already kind of was able to touch on all of the notes that I took, so we can move on. Up next, we got a Kathy Kelly interview with William Regal. And then Aleister Black showed up before he really got a chance to extrapolate on anything and asked where Johnny is. Regal apparently told Johnny to stay home, but he ensures Black that he's going to be able to get his pound of flesh because he will have a match with Johnny Gargano at TakeOver War Games. And Black ensures Regal the same thing that he ensured Candice. That guy's future in this company will fade to black.
The way he said his line, the anger, like, trembling.
Dude, and then can I also say, I'm genuinely starting to feel like Fade to Black could be like a new take on Rest in Peace, only less like pigeonholed when he uses it.
I'm telling you, man, like I said on a NXT TWitWoW, God knows how long ago, this generation's Undertaker. I am, dude. Because I don't know when the Lars segment is coming, but I have something funny to say about that too. But yeah, Aleister, he's killing.
That's actually next, by the way, because we had like the big announcement that Riddle debuts next, and then we got the official matches for TakeOver being Black Gargano and Ciampa Dream, but then we got the Lars thing.
Okay, so here's what I love about this, because he's throwing pretty much the monster equivalent of a temper tantrum, just destroying everything, and then the reporter very timidly, Lars, what's wrong? And Lars is just like, that should be my NXT championship match, not Velveteen Dreams. And more or less like, if I have to, you know, I'm just going to get to him first. I'm going to rip him apart. This way I can take his spot. But I love that he doesn't even mention that Aleister Black owned his face by kicking his head off his shoulders. Like, he's focused directly on Velveteen Dream. Why? Well, I mean, kayfabe-wise, he's obviously just wants the title and he wants to get in that championship match. But, I mean, we all know Lars fears Aleister. Like, I'm just going to be the one to say it. That monster doesn't want to trifle with Aleister Black. No, he feels like he has a better chance than Velveteen Dream. I just thought it was hilarious. He didn't even bring that up. And he got fucking owned last week. But yeah, this all leads to the announcement that we are getting Lars Sullivan versus Velveteen Dream next week. And this, I think, might actually be the first match where Velveteen Dream is like full-blown babyface. So it's actually going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out. What did you think about this, Ashton? You have any thoughts?
No, man. You pretty much touched on everything. This Lars situation is interesting. We already have Ciampa Dream set for TakeOver, but I wonder if Lars could. I mean, we found out later in the night that Lars versus Dream will happen next week. I wonder if Lars winning that match could get him inserted into that match.
Would you prefer that?
I think so. Listen, I love Velveteen Dream as a character, but as far as in the ring, I do think that he needs to be kind of helped out a little bit. Obviously, he's not a disaster in the ring by any means. Like, he's no fucking Riddick Moss by any means, but he's also no like Ricochet or even hell, we're talking about this guy later, Matt Riddle or someone like he's not great in the ring. He's just okay in the ring. And he's going against Ciampa, who might very well be enough of a ring general to carry Dream to like a 4.5-star match. But I feel like Lars being added to the match would put less of the onus on Dream and allow all three guys to have their moments. And then Dream really, I've noticed, does kind of shine more in multi-man matches. So that would almost help him even more.
Right. I do, because you know where I've been on this debate. I do want Dream to get his one-on-one NXT championship match. But honestly, TakeOver War Games is really all about the War Games match. And is there another TakeOver, though, before the TakeOver before Mania? Or no?
Yeah, there's a TakeOver before Rumble.
Okay. I would want to give Velveteen Dream that because even if he like needs more time, like throw him in with the big fish. Like I just want to see what.
Well, yeah, like to me, like I want Dream to get his seasoning without needing to be in the main event. Like I want Dream to get his seasoning with matches against guys like Adam Cole and Ricochet, which he's already done against Ricochet, but like Adam Cole and like Pete Dunne, and put him against Filer and give him a match with freaking Riddle and put him against Keith Lee. Like give him matches against all of these indie guys that are coming in with more experience than him, that are better in the ring than him, and let him learn without necessarily needing him to be in the title picture all the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I can sympathize where you're coming from. And honestly, I mean, hell, that very well could happen. I mean, I thought I figured.
I think it's one of those things where my sort of, and it's kind of applying to the women's division too, because of like Nikki Cross and Bianca Belair and Lacey Evans and all that shit. I just have high expectations for TakeOver singles title matches. Like if we're getting a Tommaso Ciampa title defense on a TakeOver, that needs to be an amazing match. And if it's just him against Dream, I don't think that will be. Again, like I said earlier, Ciampa might be damn like enough of a ridiculously talented ring general to effectively carry Dream to like a 4.5 star match. But if you just put him against, say, we already mentioned Matt Riddle, say Keith Lee versus Ciampa sounds amazing. Matt Riddle versus Ciampa sounds amazing. And I know it's probably too early for those guys, but I'm just throwing out examples for the sake of being like, listen, I like Dream, but he's not a guy that I want to be in a singles match for the world title because it's too early for him as far as his in-ring ability goes right now.
Right. That's fair. That's fair. I may have my slight contentions about it, but I could certainly like understand where you're coming from.
Oh, Paul's talking in chat about the like 8-man ladder match involving Velveteen Dream. They got 5 stars, so now naturally we can honestly say that Dreams has a 5-star match before.
Yeah. But yeah, we know next week it's Sullivan, it's Dream. We'll see what happens. But
absolutely.
What came after this, bud?
After the Lars segment, we had our third match of the night, and that was Luke Menzies versus a debuting Matt Riddle. And I just want to say, before we even talk about the match, I absolutely adore Riddle's NXT theme song.
Yeah, dude, it's perfect for him right now.
Yes, like that's the theme song I almost expected Cassius Ohno to have, because it's hip-hop as fuck, and it is smooth as hell. I just love it. And it's also worth noting he came out in flip-flops and kicked him off and got a pop for kicking him off.
You seem hyped as hell, like, over this debut, so I want you to talk first, because there is a bit I have to say, but I just need you to, like, unwind this energy. I want to, like, wind you up and go. So,
right.
What do you think about this?
So, first of all, Luke Menzies, wow. Like, this dude looks huge. He's really, like, menacing almost in the ring. Like, I don't know. He just strikes me as, like, a workhorse, man. Like, he's this big, bulky dude. He's almost like a more in shape Jeff Cobb, because Jeff Cobb is huge, but he's also got like a belly and stuff. Luke Menzies is like if Jeff Cobb ate less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Luke Menzies is freaking ripped and bulky. Like he's got like that Broly build almost with the way he's bulked out. And he comes out there in the singlet and like he's like outmanning Matt Riddle with like the shoulder blocks and shit. Like, yeah, Menzies really impressed me. But Riddle is absolutely ridiculous. Dude, Matt Riddle transitioned an attempted and failed monkey flip in this match into a goddamn armbar. Like, what? Matt Riddle's ridiculous. The finishing sequence was ridiculous because Riddle just absolutely obliterated Menzies with a penalty kick. Like, barefooted penalty kicks are more devastating, apparently, than penalty kicks with kick pads. But he did the penalty kick, and then he did a running knee strike, and then he held him in like a crucifix position and did like MMA style elbows and then won with the bro mission. So yeah, A+ match, A+ debut. Matt Riddle's amazing. And Luke Menzies really kind of put himself on the radar with this match for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, Luke Menzies came off well. I really just want to focus on Riddle though. First and foremost, I can officially declare it here. This was Matt Riddle's debut match. So now we give him a year, and within that year, I've been saying it to you, Ashton, over and over again, but we were waiting for him to pick a promotion. He's going to be NXT champion.
You realize how perfect that is, though, right? Because it's literally Halloween. Like, so we can just say if Matt Riddle wins the world title by Halloween 2019, win.
Halloween 2019, Matt Riddle either on there or before then in the next calendar year will be NXT champion. This guy and here's the thing too. I gotta say this because I'm a fan of these types of workers, the really technically sound, the scientific, the collegiate. We've had disappointments. Jack Swagger definitely, Dolph Ziggler debatably, but everybody was always been looking for that next phenom, that was like a Lesnar or an Angle, but with WWE. If Cobb ever joins suit, like he'll be in that tradition as well. But for right now, you just found your next iteration. It's fucking Riddle. Like, the dude has picked up the business so quick, and this isn't a new talking point. We've said that before in other matches of his that we've covered. But now that he's under the WWE umbrella and that both parties have kind of gotten over themselves and done business, oh my God, we're really in store for something special. I fucking love this dude. Great look. Kicking off the sandals, I fucking popped. The crowd was into him the entire time. NXT, I got to give credit. I think it's rare when you get the theme right the first time, and that really is the perfect theme for Matt Riddle. I already can't wait for it to be released because I probably won't replay it over and over again, but I will give it a good solid listen. I'll just smile all the time thinking about the bank that Riddle's about to make. And yeah, Ciampa, hug Goldie close, because whether it's Keith Lee or hopefully Matt Riddle or whatever, like, days are numbered, son. Days are numbered. Matt Riddle, man, he's getting ready to take this whole place over.
I'm telling you, man, I still think it's Gargano's championship to win off of Ciampa. I'm still going there because Gargano has been around for so long. He's been around as long as Ciampa, and he still has not held that title. I think Ciampa is going to lose it to Gargano in like 6 months or so, maybe 5.
And you're probably right about that, but dude, honestly, I'm just going to be truthful. NXT is just a pit stop on a really amazing career for Matt Riddle because I really see him taking over the world. If he goes to SmackDown, he's definitely a future WWE champion. And hell, honestly, and I hate to be that guy, we've talked already about the Roman Reigns situation extensively on Q&A. We know the moment that we're in now. There is a real viable chance that this man could be a future Universal Champion. And I wouldn't have said that before. But a lot has changed. And I think I look at a guy like Riddle. This is a guy that can main event Monday nights. This is a guy that can main event Tuesday nights. This is a guy that can close pay-per-views. This man is something special. And I try not to always go out of my way to talk up a talent like this because some flame out and others persist the test of time. But Riddle, I really think, is that guy. I feel about Riddle the same way Javaris feels about Keith Lee. Like, I don't think you could really put a ceiling on this dude. I think he will keep exceeding expectations. And the bro mission, freaking legit, quick tap out. Cassius Ohno and him at War Games. This might be Cassius's best match in a while. I'm actually really looking forward to see what those two guys can do. And yeah, welcome to NXT, bro. It's fucking amazing.
Hell yeah. Oh, man. And by the way, here's the thing, dude. I do think that Gargano is going to win the NXT world title from Ciampa on the NXT takeover before WrestleMania 35. But that being said, there are still 2 takeovers in between that show where I think he's going to win the title and Halloween next year. So you've still got a really good chance of Matt Riddle taking the title off of him in that time, or maybe someone else, but maybe Matt Riddle will do it too.
I just feel like Matt Riddle is going to be one of those guys that has a phenomenal rookie year. I really hope. I really freaking hope. And if not on NXT, I would still put forward the same prediction on his main roster rookie year. Because this guy is just going to explode. You just got to stand back and watch it happen. But great debut, a lot of energy. I actually want to go back and watch it again, honestly, because I think it's something.
Dude, yeah, like the crowd was so into everything Riddle did. I absolutely loved it.
I think he just became an immediate fan favorite. And honestly, it's perfect. Because, I mean, Gargano, it is probably going to be a very brief heel run. But, this gives other really big baby faces like Keith Lee and Matt Riddle, to kind of try their hand at being, like, on that NXT mantle of, like, the chosen one. Yep. And, yeah, Riddle, God, what an audition. Fuck me.
No kidding.
What came after this, brother?
After this, we got a recap of Shayna and Kyrie from Evolution, with the highlight being put on Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir doing stuff. And then we also got to see that .com exclusive with Kyrie trying to get at Shayna backstage too. And like, just that like exasperated yell, Shayna! Like, oh my God, I felt so bad for her.
My heart. Everything hurts.
God, we just need a quick audio clip of ahoy now so you can just die.
Oh my God. Well, it wasn't even the real thing, and I still laughed it up. Oh, I'm desperate for her goodness. Why, Shayna? Chavo!
Hey, you know what? I'm proud of you for remembering to immediately go to the Chavo and not having to do the no beforehand.
Yeah. Well, let's get into this, bud.
After this, we got Lacey Evans advertised, and then Velveteen Dream versus Lars Sullivan for next week. And then we kind of transition into our fourth match of the night, which was Lorcan and Birch versus Mendoza. And you know what? I'm going to use full names for this because all four of these guys have full names, and a couple of them are lesser known. Oni Lorcan and Danny Birch versus Raul Mendoza and Humberto Carrillo.
Yeah, and Humberto.
Yes.
God damn.
Yes.
Dude. You know what? There's something I didn't say about the Riddle match either, and it's okay. We don't need to backtrack to that because I could say it here. What I love about NXT debuts with most characters, now there are some obvious exceptions, like if you take a Lars or whatever, I like that these matches are actually semi-competitive. I like that it's not just we get to do everything and you guys get to do shit. Like I do like, because with Menzies, he got like that arm trap suplex Riddle that I thought looked pretty cool. And here,
yeah, that was like he did like the arm trap with one and then the other and then headbutt and then the suplex. Yeah, that was awesome.
Exactly. And here, like, first of all, if you're a Raul Mendoza fan, and I am saying that completely unironically, because I saw one bit of his work outside of WWE. It was a match in Mexico against Zack Sabre Jr. You got to feel vindicated, because even though this was a loss, I feel like he got to do more here in the ring than he's done pretty much his entire NXT tenure. And
by the way, for those of you that are unfamiliar with Humberto Carrillo, it's not like he was nobody that just randomly showed up at NXT one day. He was actually Ultimo Ninja before. Right.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, this is a really exciting tag. See, it's tag teams like this that get me excited about, like the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic 2019. Like, I hope these guys stick together to do that tournament, and then they get pushed in that tournament the same way American Alpha kind of was. You know, because that's how I think you really create memorable.
He's actually teamed up with Bandito before, brother.
And Bandito's insane too, so like no fucking surprise,
dude. That fucking like springboard German suplex from the PWG preview video that just came out yesterday was unbelievable.
He's not fair. Like I don't usually.
By the way, though, I do want to say, first of all, Humberto started wrestling at 15, and he's only 22.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. And again,
honestly, he might be legitimately the youngest male performer on WWE contract right now.
Right. And, you know, again, going back to Raul momentarily, like, he's put in the time on NXT. Like, we've known him for quite a while. And again, this wasn't like a win or anything, but the idea that he has a tag team partner and they have this kind of energy, again, this is what I love about NXT. If you just wait your time and you show flashes of promise, or if you're consistent, you're going to get your due. Hell, Danny Burch, I mean, it's in the same match, so it's relevant. Danny Burch, when he was Martin Stone, lost every fucking match. But he waited. He kept doing the work. I think he might have even got released at one point, but then the UK Championship Tournament, he got back, got a second chance. And now he's got this tag team with Oni Lorcan. And for Oni, same thing too, because the best thing he did before this was his brief feud with Hideo Itami, which I still fucking love those matches.
Yeah, so, like, that was incredible.
So, like, all four of these guys, this is a beautiful moment to me, because all four of these guys, you could argue in one way or another, have waited for this chance. And, like, Oni and Lorcan, they've been living it, because they just got off of the TakeOver too, and then Lorcan got injured, but now they're building their momentum back up.
Right, yeah, Lorcan and Birch.
And with Raul Mendoza and Humberto Carrillo, it's like, I've got this tag team partner. We're exciting as shit. I mean, dude, with aerial stylings like that, they could be the closest thing to like a modern day Hardys just doing crazy shit. And
I mean, really, let's be real. They kind of reminded me of like the Lucha Brothers in the Indies right now, like Phoenix and Pentagon, or we occasionally see the team of Bandito and Flamita, or Bandito and Robbie Eagles and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, kind of what they reminded me of here. And by the way, I actually wanted to ask you and even chat if you or they were at all familiar with Hector Garza or Hector Garza or Garza Jr. or Garza Jr. Whatever. Spanish pronunciations are a thing. Are you either one of those guys?
No, I'm not.
You heard of them?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'm betting at least somebody in chat has, because those guys are relatively well known in, I want to say, CMLL. But yeah, the Humberto has wrestled for the Crash before, which I know you've at least heard of, because that's his promotion. Yeah.
Yeah. This was great, dude. And Lorcan and Burch, I mean, I gotta say, I got a little bit sick of like Burch's over promotion on NXT UK. I actually like him better in NXT because he's teaming with Oney Lorcan, and I like Oney Lorcan. But
yeah, well, that's kind of like, I joke like, oh, you latched on to Lorcan's thing, but realistically, like, that's like, yeah, like Danny Burch really legitimately is like holding Lorcan back, in my opinion. I love Lorcan, and Burch is like okay, but he's just kind of there.
But to be fair, and I can't believe I'm about to somewhat defend Danny Burch, because it's not that you're wrong, but I feel like Lorcan kind of needed this too, because it's not like NXT was jumping at the chance to use him.
Well, right. I won't question that Lorcan being in a tag team is making him more relevant on NXT TV than he was prior to being in a tag team. But I just feel like Danny Burch could be literally anyone. Like, you could just stick anyone in, and Lorcan will just make it work because he's just that good. And to me,
I can, yeah.
Burch is fine, but he bores me personally.
No, and dude, I totally get that. It's weird that this team came together, because I think in their own ways they needed each other. It's just, I feel like if booking really got behind Lorcan, it would be very clear that the need was stronger in Burch than it was for Lorcan.
Right.
It's just a matter of the machine getting behind you, and thankfully Lorcan does have something to do, because seeing him on his first takeover was really incredible, even if he did have to share it with Danny Burch. And these guys did get the win with their double team DDT.
And by the way, you know what? I'm glad you remembered to bring up takeover, because I wanted to say, like, kind of similar to how on that takeover show, the crowd started out being very much behind the Undisputed Era and almost even booing Lorcan and Burch. And by the end of the match, they had won the crowd over. This match was kind of the opposite, because this match, like, the crowd was immediately into Lorcan and Burch. But when Mendoza and Carrillo started doing stuff, like, the crowd came unglued for them. And by the end of the match, they booed Lorcan and Burch for doing bad things to Mendoza and Carrillo.
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, Mendoza's found his golden ticket here. Like,
yeah, well, and again, that's really what it is too, because Carrillo was the star of this match.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. Like, it's good for Raul, because I know he can do good stuff in there, but he just needs the opportunity to show it. And
I think you can also argue that Mendoza was, as far as like the way that the match was actually like booked and I guess agented, Mendoza was the one that made the first mistake for that team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Him like charging in at Danny Burch and getting hip tossed into the turnbuckle pads, like that was like the first big like momentum shifter, and that was the beginning of the end for that team. But yeah, like, they're awesome. They need to be highlighted as frequently as the NXT can afford without overexposure. And like, I just want to see more of Carrillo, especially.
I'm going to punctuate my review of this match with this. Lorcan and Burch continue their momentum, but the story here to me is this new team of Mendoza and Carrillo. And I'm telling you right now, I want these guys in the finals of the Dusty Classic 2019. I don't want them to win, because I feel like if they're baby faces, I want to see them struggle, but I want to see them in the finals. I don't know who you put them across the ring from. Maybe Undisputed Era look for a two-peat.
Dude, I was even going to say Riddle and Lee. Come on.
Riddle and Lee could be another one. I mean, that's fine.
Or, the Monstars, Lee and Dijak.
that could be another one, especially because that works well with the contrast. Like, these two small but very agile guys against two like freaking monsters. But yeah, I mean, this is the team to watch, because if you're talking about a fiery, exciting, babyface tag team that, like, I know WWE NXT before, they had like the Lucha Dragons. These guys blow the Lucha Dragons out of the water.
No, dude, they even remind me of the Lucha Dragons. Like, I know it's easy to say like, oh, these guys are way better than them just because of like recency bias, but they really do give off that vibe, though.
Right, and that's why I thought of them, though, because I think about, the teams that they're succeeding. And you mentioned,
well, and let's not forget too, the Lucha Dragons had a absolutely ridiculously quick rise to the top. Like, they were around for a minute before they won the tag titles off Murphy.
Yeah. And Or actually, no, they won the titles off the Ascension. Blorfy beat them for the titles, if you remember.
That's right. But the win over the Ascension, I forgot who it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
Over the Ascension was on a random episode of NXT and nobody expected it or saw it coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, to me, like, I look at this, and you mentioned Bandito and Flamita. That's the vibe I really got from these guys.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, like when we were watching this, I was thinking to myself, like, is that what these guys are going for? Because, I mean, Carrillo really did remind me of Bandito with the way he moved in there. And apparently, here's the cool thing. He had a feud with Bandito, and it was ridiculous.
You know what? Foster gave me the perfect final right there. The Mighty versus Raul and Umberto. That's perfect. That's perfect. Because then you have the Mighty win, which is great. And you have
they've been trying to win the Dusty Classic for, at that point, it will be 3 years running.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Great idea, Foster. Because to me, then you check 2 boxes. Because I've been waiting for the Mighty to get pushed. And with how dastardly those guys are, you'd make Raul and Umberto look incredibly sympathetic.
Oh, God, I want it. 2019 Dusty Classic, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's fucking do that's the perfect launching pad for this babyface team. I'm sorry. Lorcan and Birch, you may be getting the push, but long term, I think Raul and Carrillo are going to win this one. They're an amazing team already.
Dude, I mean, there were 2 big spots that Carrillo did in this match that just blew my mind. So the first one was like the perfect rope balance springboard arm drag that he did. That was ridiculous. And then the second one, I even like went out of my way to tell you about this because I was a little bit ahead of you on our viewing. The moonsault that he ended up getting like feet to the face on, but the height that he got on that moonsault, good Lord.
Dude, I know. And really, when you get the height on that, it just makes the counter all the more devastating.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah.
You know, I loved it. I love the.
You know what that really, now that I think about it, you know what Carrillo specifically kind of reminded me of?
What's that?
Early pre-Botch Fest main roster Sin Cara, with the way he was getting like the crazy receptions because he was doing shit no one had ever seen before on the main roster.
Yeah. Damn.
That's what he kind of reminded me of. Because I still like when Sin Cara first debuted, I was so hyped for him, and his reception from the crowd was unbelievable. Like, he was more over than Randy Orton at that one point, and this was when Randy Orton was a face and like beloved and all that shit. And yeah, like Sin Cara was super over at one point, and then he started botching everything.
Yeah. Damn. Well, let's hope that this team has a better fate, because I really like what I'm seeing. And again, if you're a Raul Mendoza fan, this might have been the beginning of your vindication, because I think he's finally getting ready to get pushed. This is the beauty of NXT to me. So with that said, what came after this, bud?
Before we do move on, I want to just answer Paul, because Paul asked, will 2019 surpass 2018 in terms of pure wrestling match quality, do you think? I want it to, but 2018 is such a high bar, I'm going to have to say probably not to that.
Yeah. Yeah. What is
like match quality as far as like NXT and like even like the UK tournament and really those Wembley shows in general, and fucking G1 this year was ridiculous, dude. Ishii was putting out 5-star matches every other day. So yeah, like and hell, my match of the year might even still be a random tag match main event from the US show. Like that Golden Lovers versus Young Bucks match from earlier this year might still end up being my match of the year. So like, yeah, 2018 as far as and this is the year we got Gargano Almas too, and multiple Ciampa Gargano matches. Like 2018 in match quality was ridiculously overpowered. So yeah, like I want 2019 to surpass it just because I don't want wrestling to ever dip in quality, but it's going to be really, really difficult for 2019 to be better than 2018 as far as match quality goes. So we can move on now. John, after Lorcan and Birch beat these guys, we did get the Undisputed Era promo. Oh, we're on top of the world. We're so happy to have Bobby back. We're finally at 100%. And then Adam Cole gets dragged behind the curtain by the War Raiders and they attack.
Before, because I'm going to hand the ball back to you very quickly, but I actually messaged James asking him if he was a former wrestling writer, and he said no. And the reason I asked that, this was fucking hilarious to me. Because, like, they're all, like, high on their horse, like, oh, yeah, Bobby's back. And Adam Cole's like, we're always ready. You know, finally the Undisputed Era is at 100%. And then all of a sudden, oh my God. And from behind, which is something I'm quite used to with James, the War Raiders spring and begin to attack. Cole's oh my God, and him just getting pulled behind the curtain. I love wrestling. And then the fight that ensued. I mean, brother, like I said, I'm going to hand the ball back to you. What did you think of all this? Because, man, what a segment.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
This was really, I almost wanted to say like this is a throwback to old school NXT, but I can't even think of another segment from old school NXT that could match this. Like, this was crazy. This was chaotic. I mean, and I love, honestly, like, sometimes I wonder if there's some genuinely good camera talent and like production talent, like directorial talent working for NXT, because the way that this was shot and the way that they were able to really show you where the action was taking place, who was matched up with each other, like they really kept the focus on like if anyone new sprung up, like when Ricochet showed up, they did a great job of focusing on him while everyone else was down, having him do his running dive to everyone, and then like they just kept finding like, I don't know, man. I just really loved the way this was shot. It was probably because of the way that they use like the multi-camera shooting style, so they can kind of pick and choose what shots to use. It makes it seem way better, but it was still really well done, given that it was like this like crazy like live thing that was happening. But yeah, so yeah, War Raiders beating the shit out of the Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era, once we get out to the parking lot, the numbers advantage kind of overcomes the War Raiders, but then we get Ricochet to the rescue, jumps on a table, runs across it, dives onto the Undisputed Era, targets Adam Cole, kind of isolates him, and that basically evens the odds, because then Rowe handles Roderick Strong one-on-one while Hanson manages to beat up Strong and manages to handle O'Reilly and Fish at the same time. And yeah, like there was a point when Bobby Fish like was trying to open a door, but it was locked, so he couldn't. And he got caught up to by Hanson and slammed into the garage door, which was open, by the way. God damn it, Bobby, just go under it, you dumb bitch. And then we see these guys making their way to the ring. And like, as they get to ringside, we see Hanson literally like hip toss style throw. Like he launched Roderick Strong up and over the barricade to get him to the ringside area. And we see Adam Cole and Ricochet brawling their way to the ring, you know, and then eventually once everyone gets back into the ring, we see Bobby Fish use a chair on Hanson's leg. And that kind of helps to even the odds, because then like Hanson's kind of taken out. We get more like a 4-on-2 now again, where the Undisputed Era have the advantage. And then Pete Dunne's music hits and he comes out. The all-out brawl continues. Adam Cole like tries to stop Dunne, but he has a chair, so he just takes everyone out. And then everyone's fighting, and then Regal comes out. This is not how this fight's gonna happen. If you ain't hell-bent on destroying each other, then you can. At TakeOver, you will be inside of War Games.
Crowd pops big for this. War Raiders are giddy about it. The heels obviously a bit dismayed. Just to kind of walk back and go through this. First, I want to say I think this was an incredibly intelligent idea, because the tag match probably would have been fun, but honestly, Cole and Fish seemed like such a weird pairing to me. I wasn't really vibing with it. And you know how much I love the Undisputed Era, so don't say that.
Yeah, like this is one of those rare instances where an advertised match didn't happen and I was okay with it.
Yeah, no, I'm the exact same way. That's what I'm getting at, because again, like it probably would have been fine, but this was so much better. Oh my God, the chaos. I mean, the way Ricochet entered the fray, I fucking loved. And Pete Dunne just continues to just not give a fuck and be a badass. Like, what a horrible night for Adam Cole, because he gets attacked from behind by the War Raiders. And just when they think they might have a leg up, even if they're barely scraping by, in comes Pete Dunne, who just smashes Cole's hand with a steel chair. Like, wow. Agony. Yeah, this was amazing. I'm not going to go through like it, because you really did a great job of that, so I'm not going to rehash all of that. But this was so entertaining. This is why I fucking love wrestling. I can't wait for War Games. And yeah, the Undisputed Era might be 100%. I mean, well, they were. I don't know how they're feeling after that beatdown. But yeah, that was great. That was a perfect close to NXT on an episode that I felt like new stars got spotlighted, people that were getting pushed, you know, that they remained strong. Aleister Black is a fucking force, and Undisputed Era is now bucking up against a legitimate threat because, you know, War Games last year, what was it? It was Undisputed Era, the three of them. It was Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish against AOP and Roderick Strong, and then Sanity.
Yeah,
that was a great fucking match. I'm not taking anything away from the 9 people in that match. This, though, has the potential. You want to talk about match of the year contenders? This is the potential to be fucking amazeballs. Like I've been joking.
Dude,
like
I tell you what, I'm actually kind of blown away with the way they pulled this off because a couple of months ago, I distinctly remember reading spoilers that said that it was going to be Cole, O'Reilly, and Strong versus the War Raiders and Ricochet versus British Strong Style versus Lorcan, Birch, and Keith Lee in War Games. And they, like, that was a spoiler. Like, that was on a taping. That was a thing that was going to happen. And they've just completely changed the match to now, rather than 4 teams of 3, we only have 2 teams, but they're 4 men each. Like, it's such a weird change from what I guess the original plans were. And like, I feel okay talking about the plans now because of the fact that it's so different than what it was supposed to be. Like, it's just weird to me though, that like you went from this crazy, like 4-team, 12-man tag to now cutting that by a third. And we're down to 2 teams of 4 each.
And you know what though? I think in this case, less might actually be more. Because while I like some of the other guys that would have been added originally, I feel like with these 2 teams of 4, like you're really able to spotlight everybody involved. I don't think you risk anybody getting lost in the shuffle in this kind of format.
You know what? You're right that there are benefits to this, but if I had to choose between those 2 options, I would still prefer the 4-team 3-on-3 on 3-on-3 match.
Right.
I'm not trying to say that there are no benefits to having fewer men, but like just the idea of Keith Lee in War Games, man, come on.
And that would have been epic.
And British Strong Style, they still haven't gotten into a War Games match, man.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from, but I'm still hyped as hell for what we're fucking getting here. Like, I think this will be great. Really, my only thing is are any titles on the line, or is this just all about like pride? If like,
I think we'll probably find that out at some point over the next 2 weeks because we do still have 2 episodes of NXT before War Games happens.
Because here's my thing, and I am gonna be that guy. If there are no titles at stake, even though it is War Games, like I am a traditionalist, I feel like a championship match should, you know, go over a non-championship match. And, you know, I really, unless the feuds are really personal, which maybe you could argue on some level that this is, but yeah, I'm just hoping that they have some stipulation with all the gold that's going to be, you know, in that cage. And yeah, this was fantastic. NXT, this was an episode of NXT I could sink my teeth into. I was so into all this. Do you have any concluding remarks?
Man, this was a really great show, but no, you can go ahead and get into the next thing.
All right. Before I get into our next segment, very quickly, guys, going through plugs. First and foremost, check out the TWitWoW Facebook page. Leave a like if you visit it. Follow Ashton and myself on Twitter. Ashton's pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule. Tomorrow will officially be the beginning of November, which means it'll be a whole new recording schedule for the month of November. And we're already coming at you guys with stuff.
And by the way, since this is a wholesome channel, it's no shave November, not that other thing people are talking about.
Oh, indeed. Thank you for bringing that up. So yeah, be sure to keep your finger on the pulse there of the recording schedule so you know when we're going live and with what, if recordings get moved around or just redacted completely. Because from the way it's looking, guys, there's going to be quite a bit going on this month too. Never stops with TWitWoW. You know, we're the workhorse of the YWC.
Yeah, I can already tell you guys, we've got 2 recordings tomorrow, Lucha Underground review, and then a live reaction to Eve. She won from earlier this year, I believe. But then next Tuesday, we've actually got 2 recordings because at 2 p.m. Eastern time, next Tuesday, we will be live reacting to WWF Invasion 2001.
Oh, yeah. So that's Ashton's pinned tweet. Again, you're going to want to follow it because recording volume, I don't think, is slowing down, just with some things we've heard and some things we know for a fact that we're doing next month. And again, as Ashton said, it all begins, you know, tomorrow even. We're just going right out of the gate. My pinned tweet, on the other hand, is to collect Q&A questions. Q&A for next month will be November 29th. It's the last Thursday of every month. This time it's just the 29th of November. So reply to my pinned tweet with your Q&A questions. Now, we've made a change, and it's very important that I, talk about this. Non-Patreon donors only get 3 questions per Q&A. However, if you do donate to the Patreon, you get up to 5 Q&A questions. So if you don't donate, you lose a question. If you do donate, you gain a question. That's pretty much how we're doing it, because it used to be 4, but now we've switched it to 3 to non-donors, 5 for donors. So I just want to make that distinction. Submissions still apply the same way: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord. Again, I've really emphasized my pinned tweet because it's just very easy for me to collect all those Q&A questions, or DMs, I know some people like to do. And while I'm on the Patreon, I'll transition to that. I normally do the Patreon last, but since I'm already talking about it, obviously, guys, Team TWitWoW, we have a lot of projects we like to do, and we're kind of working on some new stuff for next month. Which actually, yeah, we probably should talk about that soon, because I know you said making NXT like UK a Patreon thing. So
so I think what we're gonna do is hope that y'all hit the $120 goal. But if you don't, we're gonna have to kind of hash it out with the patrons, because those are the people that pay. So those are the people that are going to decide as far as what we live react to. Because we could do, we could do live reactions to SmackDown and then a 1-hour show, or 2 1-hour shows. Or, if they would prefer, we could do, NXT UK 205 Live and live react to NXT now that Lucha Underground is not going to be on after next week.
Right.
Those are all options. We'll talk about it with the patrons once they are like confirmed and kind of, what's the word? Like official as far as in the Discord and stuff like that. Once they're, everything gets completed and sent through and all that, we'll have a conversation with our patrons. And we'll kind of hammer things out in the Discord, which, of course, if you're a patron, you're most likely in the Discord. I think we only have one patron who is not in the Discord, and he used to be in the Discord, and we can still talk to him via DM in Discord. So, we'll hammer things out with the patrons on Discord as far as what we're going to be covering for the month. We'll kind of leave it up to them. We'll give them their options, and they get to pick from that sort of pool of options.
So for what I'm going to say for the moment, because we really don't know like what's happening, but I actually kind of laid it out for you there. He did say that like 120 is kind of our benchmark. So if you want to help us reach it, the best thing you could do, Ashton was mentioning in the Discord membership only costs $3. And you get into the Discord. I call it the ultimate fan server experience, because you get to chill with Ashton and myself, while Raw's on or SmackDown's on. Well, we live react to SmackDown. And then just any other day of the week, we talk about everything in there: music, movies, video games. If you can think it, there's probably a tab for it or somebody talking about it. And as we've already kind of alluded to, when you have Discord membership and you retain it, those $3, it keeps rolling over every month. So like it keeps accruing and building. And soon you'll have an ample amount of money to have legitimate contact control in the form of live reaction requests or review requests or what have you. The example I always like to give is if you're in the Discord 10 months, $3 for 10 months, that's $30. Cash that in for a live reaction to a 3-hour show. So please, if you want to help us hit our benchmarks, $3 join the Discord is the best way to do it. Please consider donating, and we greatly appreciate it from all you guys. You guys are awesome. And the last thing, of course, is the Teespring. We have a wide variety of merchandise there. We have TWitWoW specific merch. I'm a TWitWoW guy. I'm a TWitWoW girl. We have wrestler specific merch. We have Kevin Owens t-shirts, Braun Strowman t-shirts. We have a t-shirt for Emma, the real face of the women's revolution. And
guys, I don't know if you saw Tennille, formerly known as Emma. I don't know if you saw her latest Instagram post, but man, she is living with some shit.
Absolutely. So, Emma, kick its ass like only you can. But yeah, we have a wide variety of merch there. Check it out. See what fits right for you. And finally, let's get to the segment, high spots and low shots. So my low shot. Damn, you know what?
It's hard to pick a low shot when all of the participants in every match were awesome.
My low shot is going to be Menzies. He was a jobber. I think it's a pretty easy. It's kind of a cop-out low shot, I'll admit, but this is a really good episode of NXT. And there were some acts that I didn't want to give the low shot, even if they did, questionably deserve it. So I'll just go Luke Menzies. Lost to Matt Riddle. And so, I won't see.
So you're leaving me the easy low shot, huh?
I'm leaving you whatever you want to take, partner.
The easy low shot, the Undisputed Era for the second week in a row.
What's happening to your cold, Ashton? It looks like it's falling apart.
No. See, that's where you're wrong because Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era, while associated, are not the same thing.
I mean, look, Ashton, normally I don't like fighting you on these because I know it's just always a mistake. But Adam Cole clearly didn't anticipate what happened to him tonight. He literally said, "Oh my God," while he was being taken from behind. Something that I'm quite familiar with, I might add. So you need to account for this shit. What the fuck's going on with Adam Cole?
He's just such an amazing actor.
Oh my, blow it out your ass. My eyes spy.
Wait, you're not gonna let me explain?
No, we don't have that time to waste. My life is precious, unlike Adam Cole's.
You take it back.
No, my eyes spy.
You will take it back, or I will not stop bugging you about it until you do.
Please, you're a bigger quitter than I am. You don't have
Take it back. Take it back. Take it back.
My eyes spy, guys.
Take it back. Nope. Take it back. Take it back. Nobody heard you. You gotta take it back. Nobody heard you. You gotta take it back. Nope. It's not happening. No. Take it back.
Matt Riddle had an amazing
debut. Take it back.
Fine. I take it back. Jesus.
Thank you.
Matt Riddle, who had an amazing NXT debut. Yeah, that's right. I'm taking Matt Riddle because I'm pretty sure you probably wanted him, so suck it. Matt Riddle, who had an amazing NXT debut and who already seems like a top babyface with the brand. So, yeah. Bro on that.
You know what though? It's okay because I did have a backup in mind. My high spot is Humberto Carrillo because he was the most impressive single performer other than Matt Riddle on this show, and he did not eat the pin for his team. Raul Mendoza is the jobber of the two.
Well, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Hey, if I can have Luke Menzies as a low shot, you can definitely have Carrillo as a high spot. So, with that said, guys, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary. And guys, be sure to comment on the video when it's done processing. What do you think of Raul Mendoza and Humberto Carrillo? Do you think they are going to be a dynamite babyface team? Would you like to see them in the finals of the 2019 Dusty Classic as kind of a launching pad? What do you think about Nikki Cross continuing to build her momentum? Got the win over Mercedes tonight. Seemed to have a bit of a conflict with Candice. I don't know if that could be a match down the road. What do you guys think? Matt Riddle's debut. That's one of the big talking points here. What were you going to say, Ashton?
I was just going to say, we didn't really talk about it, but Candice is pissed off at Nikki because Candice is clearly under the impression that Johnny didn't actually attack Aleister Black, and she's angry at Nikki for not telling Aleister the truth about who actually did it. Candice is obviously assuming wasn't actually Johnny.
Whoa, Candice, you're so naive.
She is. It's adorable, but, that's part of the charm. She's great.
I suppose. But, yeah, Matt Riddle's debut, guys. This is the big talking point to me of the week. What did you think of the debut? How far will Riddle go? How many people are with me that in one calendar year this man will be NXT champion? Talk about it, guys, because he's here. He's finally settled on the promotion. Promotion's finally settled on him and all of his stuff. I think we're off to the races here. I think we got something special, so I really want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Obviously, War Games, are you hyping the announcement? Here's another question for you. Are you more with me or Ashton? Are you more with me that less is more and you like these two teams here that we got? Or would you have liked the 4 teams of 3 that Ashton was originally anticipating from the spoiler that he read? So
do you want me to recap who the 4 teams were just in case?
Sure. For conversation's sake, yeah. Let them know what
okay, so it was originally supposed to be the Undisputed Era without Bobby Fish versus British Strong Style versus the War Raiders and Ricochet versus the Lorcan and Birch with Keith Lee.
Yeah, so that sounds insane. And obviously you guys saw the big brawl and then the 2 big teams that we're getting here for this. So where do you come down in your preferences for War Games? Talk to us. I gave a lot of questions this time. I'm puffing my chest out. But, yeah, I'm really curious what you guys thought about this episode of NXT because I just was all over it. Like the video if you haven't. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Subscribe to your new favorite wrestling podcast if you haven't, and click the bell icon for notifications so you never again miss any of that delicious TWitWoW goodness. Until then, guys, we will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for our Lucha Underground review. We are reviewing Ultima Lucha Night 1, which was main evented by Mask vs. Mask, Son of Havoc, and Killshot. And we got a lot to say about that. And, moving forward with Night 2, the 2-hour finale next week. And then, obviously, we got the Patreon request, the She Won Patreon request from Cliff. That'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So 2 commentaries coming at you tomorrow. Telling you, we're the workhorses of the YWC. We say it, and we keep earning that distinction every time. Until then, guys, tune in and peace out.